Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Geek Dhaba. Today, we're going to be talking about Godzilla versus Kong. And oh boy, I'm pretty sure a
Ah,
lot of us have a lot to say.
oh
You
boy.
got
Yeah.
It's
Okay, then.
the
Oh yeah.
Pandora box is about to be opened here.
Well, then, in this case, the Geek Dhaba is open. Okay, so we have a lot to say about this movie. Where should we begin? Asad, care to start us off?
What do I say? I mean, there's a lot of things on my mind. I mean, literally a lot of things. But before that, one disclaimer, of course. It was a good movie nonetheless. It had its plot holes, but it was a good movie nonetheless. It
Yeah.
entertained you. Of course,
Yeah.
post movie, you start questioning it a lot. So I think that would summarize a lot of stuff I'm about to say today.
Hmm, very well. Junaid, what would you like to say?
It was a good movie, but there are a lot of plot holes. Plus, there are some connection problems as well with the previous movies, which I will come into when we talk about it. So, but overall, it was a good movie, and we go to Zameen.
Uh, I loved it. Okay, like the trope that says "just here for Godzilla." I literally was here just for the Titans. I don't even care about the humans in the story at this point. So I enjoyed it a lot. But like everyone else said, there are a lot of plot holes and a lot of things I wish were there but weren't. So we'll get to that in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved
Yeah,
it.
we're about to open all sorts of briefcases, files, documents, notes.
Yeah,
Samin
quite
has
a bit.
Unleash
already
the
written a
archives.
thesis on that, so yeah.
Yeah,
Very
I
well,
have a lot
then.
of things to rant about.
I have a lot to say as well. As a lot of you already know, I love Godzilla in general. So I also love the kaiju stories. I love the movies. I loved how the build up of those were. In fact, one of my favorite games as a kid was Godzilla Saves the Earth. It was like a Godzilla fighting game, and to this day, I absolutely love that game so much. And it's kind of what got me into this kaiju aspect of the world. So Godzilla versus Kong was a movie I was very much looking forward to, and same with a lot of versus movies: Alien versus Predator, Batman v Superman. One of my favorite horror movies, despite it being not so great, Freddy versus Jason, because my two favorite horror icons duke it out. What more do you want? The two best kaiju's in the entire story duking it out. What more do you want? The two greatest superheroes of all time. What more do you want? You had everything you want in a versus movie. Everything comes out great in the versus movie. But there is one major flaw in every versus movie: the lack of the verses.
Yeah.
Yes,
That one we're of one mind, honestly. There
we are all
there
on
is
the
a
same
there's a
page.
there's a huge lack of versus thing. But again, it's more to do I think they just don't want to completely focus on the versus aspect of it. They want to keep some part to the story as well. So I think there's that element to it as well.
Hmm. I agree on that point. But the thing about what I would like to say about the lack of verses, that a lack of verses is not a bad thing, but the verses aspect needs to be balanced with the plot. Like think of it more like King of Monsters. You have the verses, but you have a nice balance of how the humans were interacting with this world, and Godzilla fighting three kaiju's at once.
Yeah.
Right? You got a
No,
nice little balance over there.
that's very accurate.
Yes. Then King of Monsters was such a beautiful kaiju movie. Probably if I were to consider them all, I think King of Monsters is the best. And even after Godzilla
Probably the
versus
best,
Kong,
yes.
Yeah,
even
yeah.
after Godzilla versus Kong, as much as I love the interaction of Godzilla and Kong, and I still loved it. I still loved everything about this movie. in terms of its interaction with the kaiju's. I will still look back at King of Monsters because it got me a lot of things. It could be a lot of things I wanted. I wanted Rodan, I wanted Mothra, I wanted King Ghidorah, and I got all of that in King of Monsters. In Godzilla versus Kong,
There was
they
nothing.
focused they focused on, here's an interesting thing actually. They focused entirely on Kong, which also makes sense because if you look at Godzilla and Kong as kaijus, as their own individual monsters, Kong has a better chance of being human, has a more like a human interactive character in this entire in the kaiju universe. So focusing on him works because if you focus on Godzilla, he's like the
He's
like
already been established like in two last two
Yeah.
movies, and Kong was like left out for quite some time. So on that one I agree with you. Like it just leaves room for Kong's development. Like, okay, there's some time passed, and Kong has not only just grown in size but also grown in terms of abilities and in terms of intelligence, because we
Intelligence.
see him, intelligence as well, exactly, and because we see him literally figuring it out that okay, his world is actually inside a dome, so he's just
Mm.
chucking branches at the dome and everything. So you can understand, like, this monster is not just a monster. There's an intelligence aspect to him. So
Mm.
that was a detail that I really liked a lot.
Junaid. Would you have anything to add?
I have a lot of things to add. One,
Feel
Oh
free.
wow. Oh
when
dear,
the
here we go.
movie started and they were introducing Kong and Godzilla, right? And they were showing all that Zilla demolished this monster, this enemy, and this and that. There were a lot of monsters.
All the defeated
Yeah, yeah.
images coming up.
Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
when we play Tekken and you go
Yeah.
the
one one
bracket
one
tournament,
match
Yeah.
yes.
bracket tournament, but
Matchup
they
brackets.
showed it. They showed it for the Godzilla part, but Kong there was nothing at the back end. It was just like he's just there, and then he comes
There
to
were a
see the
couple.
Godzilla.
There
Yeah,
There
but
were
were
a
a
there were
couple.
couple. There were a
A
couple.
couple.
there were like two.
The skull crusher, the skull crawlers
Yeah,
from Skull
the
Yeah.
skull
Island.
crawlers. Yeah, only
They
they.
were shown on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
They were
mean
shown
that
on Kong's side.
for me, I think there should have been like one movie more for Kong before this
Mm. Mm.
versus type thing which they introduced.
Mm.
Secondly, I don't see why. Okay, King of Monsters, it was great. King, the Godzilla becomes the king and the owner, the king of all the
The
monsters,
Alpha Titan.
Alpha Titan, right? But the alphaness of Godzilla wasn't there in Godzilla versus Kong. It was just
Mm.
like Kong being like I don't know, Kong being supported by the humans for some reasons. He wasn't able to fight in the first scene where Godzilla attacks Kong and he's on the ship. Everyone
I
was
have a
saying,
I, I have
yeah,
a thing for that. I
yeah,
have a counterpoint for that. It's probably because Godzilla is amphibious. Like he can do it both on land and water. But Kong is primarily limited to land. You saw him jumping on the ships to get a better playing
yeah, but
area, fighting area. So he has a disadvantage when it comes to fighting on the water.
even then, think of the scenario if they would have
Mm.
unshackled Kong when
Mm.
the kid said they
Mm.
waited
Yeah.
and waited
Earlier.
until the last moment. That's why Kong
Mm.
lost. Maybe if they
Mm.
would have unshackled him when the lady said that the kid is saying unshackle Kong,
Mm.
he needs help.
Mm.
Maybe the
He could
whole
have gotten
scenario
a
would
head
be
Maybe
start.
different.
listen to the
Yeah,
kid. Maybe listen to the kid, like the actual
yeah,
person who actually
Yeah.
communicates with the thing. Maybe he
Exactly.
listen
exactly.
to that.
Yeah.
But no one listens to the brown people. I'm gonna say that.
No
No
one
one
One last
listens to
listen.
the
thing.
brown people.
No,
Why
I just
introduce
want.
Mecha Godzilla?
Oh damn.
Oh,
Oh
okay. I
no.
wanted
Oh
to say a
no,
lot of.
Junaid.
I wanted to say a few things. You opened another door here. So let's
Yeah, we'll come to
begin.
that circle once we are done with Samin's
Yeah.
point. I
Yep.
think the next point we're going to discuss is Mecha Godzilla itself. So yeah, Junaid, complete your point.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Go for it.
I'll talk later.
Okay, Sameen, take it away.
Okay.
Where
Oh boy.
Mecha Godzilla?
No, 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 no. We're gonna say what
No, no, just do your.
what any and all
Finish the
points that you
reaction.
have to discuss.
Oh, I have a lot. Okay, so the first thing is like I had to go on TV tropes to find out what happened to Rodan. Like You see the credits for King of Monsters and the newspaper articles showing in the credits, they show that Godzilla is leading all the awakened titans towards Skull Island. So what happened to that? Did they reach Skull Island? Did something happen in between? And I had to go to TV Tropes and find out that Rodan has now cocooned or hibernated himself in a volcano in Fiji for King Godzilla versus Kong, in between King of Monsters and now. And
Was this explained in the movie, or was it just like an
no,
additional?
Oh, it was
Just
it was
no,
thrown
it
skipped.
out
wasn't.
there?
No, it wasn't. I had to
Oh,
find out from a website, from TV Tropes,
Hmm.
that
wow.
Rodan is now in Fiji. And what about all the other kaiju? Where's Methuselah? Where's the behemoth? The other Muto we saw? Okay, we're not going to talk about Mothra because Mothra is an egg at this point, and it's only been five
Again, we
years.
don't know how much time has passed. I mean, between
Five
King of
years.
Monsters, 5 years. I
They
mean, 5 years
specified
is
5 years.
enough, right?
They've
Yeah, 5 years.
specified
Five
it's
years
5
would be
years.
enough, right? We're gonna come to. I do have a point about
Yeah.
Mothra as well. We're gonna make
But
that one.
but the thing is, where are all those titans? Godzilla was leading them towards Skull Island according to the end credits. Where are they? And apparently Skull Island is being destroyed by the surrounding storm. That's why all the EV people died off. So where are those titans? Maybe a little
Again,
throwaway line.
I have a small counterpoint to that because
Hmm,
it could be because again it's an alpha being challenged, right? So
hmm,
obviously everybody wants to keep out of it. The main
hmm,
rule of the jungle, like it's just animal
hmm.
psychology that
Yeah.
if the king is being challenged, if the dominant or the alpha is being challenged,
Hmm,
nobody steps
hmm.
in between. It's like between the
Oh,
alpha and whoever is the
right.
challenger. So
Nee,
in this
definitely.
case,
That's not it.
Godzilla might have like given out the signal
Yeah.
that, okay, like, hey, it's between me. If I need the
Hmm.
boys, I'll ask for the boys.
Yeah, but
So
again,
yeah, it could be
Alpha's
that.
going for the
Yeah.
beta, right? In
Hmm.
Godzilla's case,
I
Kong is
agree.
the beta, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the thing comes. Kong isn't
Hmm.
coming for Zilla. Zilla is going
Hmm.
for Kong.
Zilla is coming for
Hmm.
Kong. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yes, I mean,
And then
continue.
later we found out it's not even Kong he's actually going for. Kong's just in the way.
Kong's just in the way. Exactly.
But again,
No,
we
but
don't find
again,
that out
not
until
exactly
later.
per se in the way because
Hmm.
again, the movie establishes that both Godzilla's and Kong's ancestors duked it
They
out
had an
completely.
ancient war. Yeah.
They had an
They,
ancient rivalry, so it's kind of like rekindling, father, the son was the son. So it's kind of like the
hmm,
same thing. The cycle just keeps on continuing
hmm,
until this movie, of course.
hmm.
I actually have a theory about the other kaijus.
Yes.
Because 5 years have definitely passed, and if we all also remember,
Hmm,
at one point there was a technical island that was formed at the end of the battle with Ghidorah, where all the
hmm.
Hmm.
kaijus also came to bow before Zilla. I don't know why we're calling it Zilla.
That,
Hong
Zilla
Kong.
is a completely different franchise.
yeah.
So
Nee,
um,
that wasn't exactly an island that formed. It was just the remains of the
yeah,
city after
the remains of the
after
city, but it was an
Godzilla.
isolated area. It was isolated because of the fight that took place. It's kind of like a
Hmm,
separate island in its own right, but that's a different thing altogether. That was just a nice little touch that I saw in that movie.
hmm,
Uh, but
hmm,
the thing is, 5 years have definitely passed, and there's without a doubt Zilla and Rodan and a bunch of others that bowed before
hmm,
Kong would definitely go to see the other kaiju's because there were so many that were released in this time frame, and within
yeah,
5 years, you're obviously
yeah,
Godzilla's
hmm,
probably going to want to assert dominance. Yeah,
hmm,
naturally, because he is
True.
now proclaimed indirectly as the king of monsters. He defeated Ghidorah. He's
hmm,
now the king of monsters.
True.
yeah,
So he would want to either gain control of all the other kaijus or to just see how the other kaijus are, which one are friend, which one are foes. And he would, without a doubt,
hmm.
lose a lot of them in the process. Rodan would probably get weak
Which
and
is
probably,
where those defeated brackets come over.
yeah,
Hmm,
all the brackets thing makes sense
Yeah,
now. And
but the whole notion that all of them have died, it doesn't make sense.
no, no,
What
not
no.
doesn't
all
make
of
sense
them.
is that all of them, not
I
all
don't
of them would
believe
have died.
I don't believe they're all dead. I believe they're either hibernating or in hiding because
Yeah,
Nee, but
yeah,
about the
that could be
hibernating,
convenient.
that's where my point comes. That the end credits for King of Monsters, the newspaper article said that Godzilla is leading the awakened titans towards Skull Island. So
now
did they ever reach Skull
you
Island?
see, here's the other
Uh,
interesting point because you
or
see,
did they get lost in the way?
How did they
Yeah.
get lost in the way is not the main question here. The question is how much time has passed
Yeah.
in between those news articles.
Mm.
True. True. That's true. But
Because
there's
for
one thing
all,
that
yep.
intrigued me a lot was like, how we don't even get any indication, like just to Junaid's point and Samin's point, like we don't even get any indication that this world has any more kaijus or something. Like, are they trying to establish that all of them have died so that they can make space for the other ones? Like, for example, Destroyer is actually not from Earth; he's from space. Destroyer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they could be trying to make space for the space for the alien ones to show up now.
Mm.
So, I'm just thinking
Like
it could be
Destroyer
like the
that
next one Destroyer comes in, because
yeah
Destroyer,
us
again, Amar, correct me here.
yeah.
Destroyer was the one who actually defeated and killed Godzilla, right? If I'm not wrong. If I'm not wrong, because my history is a little bit
If
faulty.
I remember correctly, they
Destroyer was
both
either
died.
he comatose him.
I yeah, I don't remember exactly the details because there's so many kaiju movies, and Godzilla has
There's
died
so many,
so
bro.
many
Yeah.
has Godzilla has died so many times and got resurrected a few times as well in so many
No, but
different
like the true,
cases.
true death of Godzilla was by the hands of Destroyer. Like you said, it was like a die, like it was a
Yeah,
what we call a TPK.
it was a yeah, it was a tie, but I think at that point I think he had a son as well at that point, and the son
Godzilla.
yeah, Godzilla
Son
had a
of
son.
Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla had a son at one point, and then Godzilla, the original Godzilla, dies, and that the son of Godzilla becomes the new Godzilla.
Mm.
Obviously.
They could go that route. I mean, if they are very, I mean, the fact is that they're serious about this monsterverse that they have created.
But
The thing is,
it's
they
too
have got something good going there.
yeah, but
They
it's
have
too
got
early
something
for
good
a
going
Son
there.
of Godzilla arc. It's too
I
early.
agree. I agree. I agree on that one. But
So
yeah.
speaking of too
So,
early, Mecha Godzilla.
Mecha Godzilla. Oh boy. Oh
Please
boy. Amar, you go first. Amar, you
go
go
ahead.
first.
Mecha Godzilla in this movie was perfect, in my opinion. A lot of people would say that it was people will probably compare it to Doomsday and BVS, probably. But here's the thing. Uh, if my memory is correct, I may be wrong. Do correct me. Anyone who actually has seen the original kaiju movies or has good memories of them, let me know in the comments. I think Mecha Godzilla made an appearance in Godzilla vs Kong in 1963 as well,
Yep, it did.
and
It
that
did. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was this little uh, connection to the old one is what I absolutely loved. And also,
Yeah.
to explain the need of Mechagodzilla, there's a proper explanation and then there's a human explanation. A
Yeah.
proper explanation is more or less that okay, you have a whole bunch of kaiju's in the world, and Godzilla is proving to be the bigger threat. So if for any reason, like same reason like Batman created all those weaknesses for the Justice League, if any of them were to go rogue or would no longer help them in a time of need, you would need something to stop them,
Like a contingency plan,
like a
yes.
contingency
Mm.
plan. And Mechagodzilla was perfect, a robotic form of an existing Godzilla who, in the original movies, could actually cloak himself to look exactly like Godzilla.
Yeah, but
So
this one,
One was
this
oh.
one, this one is just like a Gundam gone bad.
They messed up. They messed up.
No, okay. My gripes. Okay, I'll give credit where credit is due. I'm okay with the design.
Yeah.
It's how it's
Yeah.
supposed to look.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But what I'm not okay with is the justification. There was no justification given. Like, okay, why are you creating Mecha Godzilla? Why couldn't you create a weapon instead or anything? Like, this is me speaking from an outsider perspective. Like, okay,
Hmm.
why are they creating a whole dinosaur-looking thing when for lesser cost you could have had like a Gundam, you could have like more artillery power or something. I mean,
A Jaeger.
artillery does hurt Godzilla. I mean, he's
Okay.
not immune
Okay.
to it.
Yes. To that point, the oxygen, the
Oxygen,
the, ox-
the
the oxygen bomb,
oxygen bomb,
oxygen
exactly,
destroy. Yeah, the oxygen destroyer bomb from King of Monsters. It did weaken
exactly,
Godzilla severely.
exactly. So you could have had more of those, but no, we were like, okay, we want to make Mecha Godzilla, just to please the fans. Fans were pleased, no doubt there. I was hyped.
Yes.
I was hyped. But once you go out of the movie theater, you start asking a lot of questions. So you're like, okay, I got that, but I didn't get a good enough explanation for why I got that. And then, of course, the connecting thing is Serizawa's son, who is piloting the damn thing. By the way,
Dishonor on his cow.
Serizawa's dishonor on him,
Dishonor.
dishonor on his cow,
Mhm.
dishonor on his everything. But
Not his
you don't
family,
explain
because
what is the motivation. If you explain that, okay, his son blames Godzilla, that, okay, granted, my father exploded the whole nuke and all of that, but his son blames Godzilla that, yeah, because of you, I don't have a father. So that's why I see you as a figure that I need to take down. Again, weak reason, but still acceptable.
Okay, one more reason.
Serizawa's son didn't even give you an explanation.
yeah,
Instead,
they just
midway,
put
at
him
the
into the
first part, he
story.
looks at exactly at the first part, they portray him as this really evil looking, like he's just looking like this. I'm gonna do rah rah rah, I'm evil. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, Mecha Godzilla can't take this, it would, go wrong or something like that. And I'm like, okay, now you're getting cold feet now, of all the places. And then, of course, Ghidorah's own consciousness goes into Mecha Godzilla, which again, so many things that could have happened but didn't happen. But okay. But what I did like about Mechagodzilla, and that's my final point about Mechagodzilla, is the combat. Mechagodzilla absolutely thrashed everybody. And I hate the I hate that, the only weakness for Mechagodzilla was a, some wine on the circuitry, and that was it. I mean, I would have really liked Kong and Godzilla to actually like do like a tag team takedown of this thing. So yeah, my final point was Mega Godzilla, good addition, but should have explained more.
Junaid, you're up, and then I'm gonna give every
Okay,
explanation I can.
okay.
Oh boy.
Uh, One thing was again the point where it was no use. Even I have one theory. One theory which comes into mind is when the movie starts and Godzilla attacks one country, right? That could have been a motive to create Mecha Godzilla. But again, even if that was the motive, you cannot create and you cannot come up with the whole Mecha Godzilla like structure and the programming and everything in such short time. Number one. Number two, again, why did he get cold feet after? First, he was like, I'm so badass and this and that," and then he's going like, okay, the new portion, no, it's not gonna work. What if it doesn't work? Number three, the Russells. Why are they in the movie? Just why are they in the movie? Look, I'm starting to hate the daughter who's Millie, who's playing Millie.
Millie Bobby
Millie
Brown.
Bobby Brown. Millie
Yeah,
Madison,
Bobby Brown.
Madison.
Madison,
She's
Madison.
right?
playing
Yeah.
Madison.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate her too from the guts. She's like the villain of the movie. If she wasn't there, maybe the plan wasn't even going to be successful, right? She has, I don't know, whenever she comes into the scene, it's like, even if the fight is going correctly, it becomes like there's a whole demolition and stuff. The only thing which the when they go into the core of the earth, I forgot the name. Maya,
Hollow
right?
Hollow
Earth.
Earth.
Hollow Earth.
Hollow
Hollow
Earth.
Earth.
Hollow Earth. Only character which was well played was Maya, and Asil will agree with me on this. I can see your face. Anyways, I'm going to skip that.
No, no,
Anyway,
no. I agree with you. No, no, no. I definitely agree with
yeah,
you. I
that was the only
I do
part.
agree because we have no, no. And just to complement your point, is that because we have seen her passion for all of this throughout
Mm,
the movies. Like she is the one character who's been very invested in all of this. So to see her enter Hollow Earth and her expression at finally discovering this particular mythological place, so that is something that you really appreciate. Like, yeah, okay, she's getting what she worked for.
Also, the thing which they're making the Asian kid look like bad in a way. They're making him tell lies to Kong. Maybe your family's there. Fine, we get it. It was the actual birthplace of Kong's whole ancestors and everything. But again, humans didn't know that. It
Yeah,
was just a bluff, right?
Hmm.
and it
So
worked.
it worked.
Hmm.
But again, the thing is, if you take out the human part from the movie, it could have been more action, more story, maybe a
Hmm.
whole more background, and maybe they would have introduced more monsters. Because the only
Hmm.
thing I can see in this is the humans being the monsters. They tied up Kong, and they left Zilla open. Why there is no restriction on Zilla, right? Why there is
Because
only restrictions on
Zilla
Kong?
is uncontrollable. The only thing they can control
If
is Kong. So
I mean
it's kind of like they have no other choice.
they resurrected him, right? In the previous Sea of
Yeah.
Monsters.
They needed him.
I mean, yeah, they needed him.
I mean, yeah, they needed him. We being the
Look,
selfish sons, we can be.
you just want to hate on the humans, don't you?
I want to
Yes.
hate on the Russells, to be honest.
Go ahead. You're not alone.
And
No,
and
look,
one
no
more
hate to
thing,
the Russells. No hate to the Russells. It's just
All
that,
the
the doctor
like, if they have to be involved, make it good, I guess.
yeah,
again. One
especially the
thing,
dad. Especially the
dad, yeah.
dad.
What the hell happened to
Can,
the dad in this movie?
can we all
Yeah,
just
because he
agree
was
that
right there.
can we all just agree
The
that the
Russells
human
had zero
interaction
contribution to the story.
yeah, can we all just agree that the human interaction was just there for human interaction and nothing else?
No, look,
Yeah.
the thing is, look, I'll give credit where credit is due. I liked the way that they put the child in just for that human to monster connection. I
Yeah,
like
Yes.
that.
that was
Gia.
good.
That
Yeah.
that was
Gia.
good. That was well played out.
Yeah.
If you take that
Yeah.
one element, that was well played out. You
Yeah.
take Dr. Raya, and her whole journey was played out well. Like, you know how she was very invested with Kong, she was very invested with the Hollow Earth. She got rewarded and everything. But the rest of them, it doesn't make sense. It just
Also,
doesn't
one last thing.
connect.
Yeah.
Godzilla is going from one Titan hold to another Titan hold, which is in all parts of the world. We see Hong Kong in the previous movie. Why is there only US Army?
You
What
know,
happened to the
I
Chinese
ask the
army?
same question whenever I see the Japanese army in Skull Island.
Oh, man.
Why?
We're not gonna go there.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
Again, even if you want to bring an army, the only army which is justified in a Godzilla movie is the Japanese army, not the US army.
Yeah, that's fair.
They have they have Super Sentai
I
mechs to
mean,
deal with.
so now, Samin, your turn to open the
Pandora.
notes.
Okay, so one thing that you guys are talking about, Dr. Eileen Andrews, who was with Kong for, according to her, the last 10 years. Better than Eileen Andrews, I would have liked Eileen Chen to come back because she has so much more knowledge about the whole Titans, and her family has been like the guardians of Mothra for generations.
Mhm.
Having her in the story would have been so much more satisfying. Yeah, we have an Eileen, it's just the wrong Eileen, according
This
to
is the
me.
wrong.
Also,
I
one
mean,
more
But
but
she
thing.
she's
has
still
so
there
much.
as a
Well,
character.
But yeah, but on the topic of human interactions, I'm going to come back to Ren Serizawa. Again, dishonor on everything he has. We need his backstory. Because, see, like the other humans in the other movies, we got their backstories. Even if it wasn't something very big, we still got to know. Like we had Hank Marlowe in Skull Island. He's been there since World War II with his Japanese counterpart. Then we have Joe and Ford Brody, the way they lost their mother slash wife in Godzilla in the opening. Then even the Russell family and Eileen Chen, we had their backstory in King of Monsters. Where is Ren Serizawa's backstory? Why is he so against everything that his father stood for? Like your father sacrificed his life to save Godzilla, and now you're actively working to kill Godzilla. Where's the backstory? Even like maybe a couple of sentences, a couple of scenes. Throw Madison's dad out. I don't need to see him being a disbeliever after everything they went through in King of Monsters. Like his
True.
wife died for God's sake to help Godzilla out, and he's like, nah, maybe Godzilla's evil again. It's only been five
Yeah.
years,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's like,
I need,
no, the
like
whole
again,
notion
yeah,
of people change, people,
yeah,
monsters
yeah,
change like people do. I mean,
exactly,
like, bro, who hurt you?
yeah.
What
I
happened? I
know,
mean, pretty much.
yeah, yeah. Who hurt Ren? I got that from a website, like, again from TV Tropes, that I don't know, like Dr. Serizawa gave a Serizawa family heirloom to Dr. Graham instead of to
Mhm.
Ren, and that's why he's pissed off against his dad. Like my dad doesn't care about me. That
Yeah, but
that
that's the
again,
thing.
it
You need to
wasn't
explain
in
that
it.
stuff in the movie, right?
Exactly. Like just maybe a couple of scenes. That's all. Just give us a little bit about their motivation. You can't
Exactly.
throw in. a character with such a big name related to the story, related to the main Titan, and then just, oh, he's evil. It's okay.
Okay,
Mm.
so King of Monsters, the dad is after my daughter will get her. There's a dad. Now in
Hmm.
this movie, he doesn't give a what. He can die for all
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
happens.
He went all the way to Antarctica after her.
Second point, the vlogger. I think they added him for the comedic part of this movie. I think. Where did
Exactly,
the
and
fat
not
guy?
needed.
Where did the fat guy came from? There's no
Hmm.
Yeah.
backstory, right? Third thing, which I was going to say and I forgot now. Ah,
I
yeah.
have,
We're not sponsoring TV Tropes, but yeah, TV Tropes, if you're listening, feel free to
yeah,
reach out.
I know, but they have a lot of information that I didn't find in the movie that I wanted in the
Yeah.
movie, and I had to find out from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. TV tropes, we
Al-
love you.
Yeah.
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 Also, Mecha Godzilla. Let's go back to them. He single-handedly almost killed Godzilla, right? I get it. Godzilla single-handedly almost killed Kong. He was on his last breath, like pleading to him for mercy, and then Kong comes back from a ship. So they gave him CPR through a ship, and King Kong comes back, and then he goes all berserk and demolishes Mecha Godzilla. And 100 points for Harambe for being the Haramda you we can say.
I
But
was
again,
waiting for that
I had
joke.
it was coming, right? The last scene, what was the movie reference which I shared with you guys? Please move, please see back if you love me or stuff like that. I mean, he's going like nothing even happened. Fine, I get it. There
Yeah,
was a whole fight, but
Godzilla is kind of a Sundere, you know. He's like,
Mhm.
I only helped you because I wanted to, because he was killing us both. I don't have any friendship with you.
Uh,
Baka.
I would say that Godzilla in these type of movies is kind of like the Sasuke Seto Kaiba character.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly,
The lone
exactly. I mean,
wolf.
this was a very Naruto and Sasuke kind of moment. Like Sasuke was like, okay, I helped you. I'm just gonna go now. But
Yeah.
yeah, but there is another interesting thing that Samin pointed out that with Ren Serizawa, only a flashpoint could have worked. I mean, there could be 1,000 different things you could do with that,
A
like
flashback, not a
how
flashpoint.
a f- sorry,
yeah,
Flashback.
don't go
flashback.
flash to
Sorry.
us.
No,
That
but
is
the
Flashback.
also a
whole point
completely.
is
That's also a completely different video.
sorry about that. But point is, no, the interesting point here is like there could have been so many reasons. He could have been brainwashed by that same dude who was
Simmons.
the yeah,
Apex.
exactly. He could have been, yeah, he could have been brainwashed either because that guy was positioned as a very charismatic person and who is able to influence thinking, which is all right, which is a key mark of a villain, that he's able to influence your opinion.
Hmm.
You could have easily got that whole thing wrapped up in just 5 minutes, how he must have influenced him, like, hey, your dad died, this monster is there because your dad died, and all of that stuff.
Even less than 5 minutes.
Even less than 5 minutes, like hardly, you just need like three or 4 minutes just to explain that, and people would
Yeah.
understand, okay, this guy is the one behind him, and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
And you can even connect that, like after he's channeling Ghidorah starts taking over this dude, and of course it
Hmm.
becomes too much for him. So Ghidorah takes over
Hmm.
the dude, and then from there takes over Mechagodzilla. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Easy
Hmm.
enough. I mean, if Ghidorah can influence monsters, what can he do to humans?
Yeah.
And he is being connected right into a human mind. So,
Not to mention
I mean,
Ghidorah's specialty is telepathy, I think. Like the three heads, they're too large to have work with one brain. There was something about it, Ghidorah being telepathically connecting
telepathic,
with
yes. Telepathically
Yeah.
connected
all
to
the
all
three.
kaijus. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. That's correct. But yeah,
Not even all
over
kaijus with
back to your points.
the three heads together.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But back to your points.
Mar.
My fault?
Okay then. Okay, there's a lot to unpack.
Oh
Where do
boy.
I begin? Let's see. Yes, I brought up.
From the
Okay, to
end.
answer one of your questions, I did say I had two reasons. One is a logical reason, one is a human reason. Human reason is the same thing that we saw in, if I remember correctly, King of Monsters, where Saizawa was, forgive me for saying the name wrong, said that they will be Godzilla's pet.
The humans, yeah.
Yeah, the humans will be Godzilla's pet.
Humanity.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the human reason. Humans don't want that. So why not make something that will do the opposite instead of
Make
making,
Godzilla their pet.
yeah, you make Godzilla their
Yeah.
pet by making something stronger than Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
That's
naturally,
basically what that Simmons guy, the apex head, that's basically what he said, that humans will once again be the alpha species once we get rid of Godzilla.
exactly. And that is what
Mm.
he wanted. That is why he created Mechagodzilla, a mechanical form of a creature that is taking over
Mm.
everyone. You, it's a common logic back in the day. The only thing that would stop a creature would be a mechanical or complete opposite form of that.
Mm.
Like
Adaptation.
you have Superman, you have Bizarro Superman, you have
Mm.
let's say you have Flash, you have
Batman,
Reverse
yeah.
Flash, you have Batman does not really have an opposite of that way. I mean, you could consider
I mean,
Joker,
if you
but
count
not really.
Owlman,
Owlman is a
Mm.
different
I mean, if you
Earth,
count
doesn't
Owlman,
count.
is a
That's
different
different.
Earth, yeah. I mean,
Basically,
it's
the
a
opposite,
counter.
the anti
Mm.
of that.
You have Iron Man, you have the Ironmonger. You have, okay, this is a good
Yeah.
opposite. You have Captain America, you have Zemo.
Mm.
Mhm.
So you have things like this. An opposite works, and in some cases, the opposite is usually a mechanical form. So
Mm.
especially in especially in like in Japanese storylines, like with the Monsterverse, with Power Rangers, aka Super Sentai, with all forms of anime, whenever there is a big bad hero, there's
Mm.
usually a mechanical counterpart.
It's the concept inspired from the yin and yang, right? Like,
Mm.
there's
Basically.
opposites to everything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like their mythology influencing their current pop culture, and we have seen that
Mm.
in not just like Godzilla. We have seen that represented in pretty much almost every media form that we have seen.
Mm.
Like, if there's a power, there's an opposite to that. If there's a person, there's an opposite.
Even YouTube channels would do that for
So
a while, create
it's
like
it's
dark
kind of a
counterparts of
recurring trope,
themselves.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smosh did
Yeah.
it, Nostalgia Critic did it,
Hmm,
a whole bunch of people did it. Well, Nostalgia Critic technically did it as a joke, but you get the
true.
idea. Uh, Now, what
Yeah.
else did I want to say? I actually realized something during your guys' conversations that it's been 5 years.
Hmm.
5 years a person has been undercover, and the guy has been available every time Godzilla was in the zone. For 5 years, he has always been where Godzilla has been.
Hmm.
So I started thinking about it. Why? And then I started realizing this guy's doing a good job because they weren't working on Mechagodzilla in just one place. They worked them in different
Hmm.
areas and brought them all to the
Hmm.
Hong Kong area.
Hmm.
And what Godzilla was
Yeah.
feeling was the essence of Ghidorah, the alpha king of monsters before
In
him, in every single mechanic that they were
Yeah.
making. So the
Hmm.
purpose was to
True.
stop that from happening. So that's why Godzilla was more on a
Mm.
rampage. But naturally, again, human approach. No one understood what was
Hmm.
going on. People now think that
Hmm.
Godzilla is a villain.
Has gone rogue. Yeah.
Technically, he's always rogue. He's technically gone more of a mem-
He's an anti-hero per se.
yeah,
Like, he's
he
not a
Yeah.
hero.
yeah,
He's
he's like
Yeah.
anti-hero.
he's more
That's how
like,
he's been represented.
I would say he's like, if I would think like Dungeons and Dragons, he's like chaotic neutral.
Mhm.
Like
Chaotic neutral.
he will
I
do what he
agree there.
wants. He'll do what he wants, but
Yeah.
he doesn't care what happens in the process.
I would say
Hence
lawful
So
Hong
legal,
Kong flag.
lawful evil.
Yeah.
Lawful
lawful
evil would be a better term, because he doesn't exactly. I mean, he isn't exactly evil per se, but it's kind of like he's only that when it's needed to be. Like, would I be correct in saying that?
This is a debate because technically, even in the olden movies and even in the 2014 Godzilla would appear and just do whatever he wanted, and he would be a little more direct towards things when there was a threat. Otherwise, he does whatever he
Hmm.
wants.
Yeah.
So in the case of, let's say, the
True. Right.
2014
So chaotic,
Godzilla movie, yeah, chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if he destroys buildings. He
chaotic
doesn't
neutral.
care that people die in the process. But
Hmm.
if he sees a Muto or a
Hmm.
Ghidorah or any other kaiju attacking a city, he will stop
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
because that is a
Yeah.
threat to
If,
him.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of
yeah.
like, I will kill, if these humans are gonna die by somebody's hand, it's gonna be me, not gonna be you.
That is
It's
one
Coming
way
to
to
kind of
look
that
at it.
more
point,
like
Yeah,
that. So
technically, that is
humans are like,
that
so
is.
screw us, right?
coming to that point, there is one. Why is there a debate that Avengers blow up buildings and this and that, and there's a whole lot of laws, and they're okay with the Monsterverse.
I mean,
You
because they're
can't
monsters.
you can't really
You
find a
you
You
can't
monster.
can't.
you
Yeah,
You
you
can't
you
find
can't go
you,
up to
you
Kong.
look.
I
you
You
mean,
can't
can't
go up to
sign
Kong and show
Junaid.
him an
at one
OSHA.
point,
you can't make Godzilla sign the Scovia Accords.
No.
yeah,
Junaid, I will give you $1 million. If I find a way to get $1 million, I will give it to you. If you can convince Godzilla to appear in court.
it's not about code. The thing is,
Wish
they've imprisoned all the other monsters, right? All the other titans. Why not do it with the same with Godzilla, right?
they
God,
technically didn't imprison them.
no. Here's the thing.
No, no, no.
They all those
They
other
didn't imprison.
monsters were either hibernation or dormant, and they took the
Yeah,
opportunity to hide them. Godzilla was a completely
yeah,
different thing altogether. He was a
yes,
mishap that got created in the process of the Hiroshima bombings.
yes.
I
Uh,
mean,
it
it
probably
was
got
kind
changed
of.
later.
I mean,
It
if you
got
go to the,
changed later, but technically a lizard
it
explosion,
did,
nuclear
it did.
explosion
No, no, no,
became
no, no.
Godzilla.
That was the
In
1997 movie, not this one, not
And no.
2014.
Yeah,
It's also the story in the 60s.
Yeah, but
60s. Yeah.
not in the Monsterverse. In this Monsterverse, the current Godzilla is millions of years old,
Yeah.
but the remains that
and
they
has
found
existed.
in the Philippines cave-in in the start of 2014 Godzilla, that was another Godzilla species member,
Hmm.
not our Godzilla.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the current Godzilla in the Monsterverse, he is millions of years
Uh,
old, and he's
I.
always
I.
been
I.
swimming
That's,
around in the.
yeah. That's it. Samir, I think you just started a
My
whole new
point.
hashtag. Hashtag not our Godzilla.
Okay.
See
Okay.
the humans
So
part. I don't get the humans
Restore.
part.
no,
No.
but basically,
Restore the real
basically
Godzilla.
the current the Titans, they were all in hibernation. Like when Ghidorah sounded his awakening call, and they all woke up. There were Titans coming out of the ice, out of the Methuselah coming out of the ocean or the mountains, the whole ground coming up. The monarch sites were basically just observation sites. Like even Ghidorah was encased in ice for millions of years, and the monarch facility there was just to observe and study him. They weren't containing them; they were just sitting there and observing them and studying them. Monarch is basically pretty much powerless in containing them,
Yeah,
except for Kong.
because
At
he
the
I'm
was.
still
time,
wondering how they
Yeah.
managed
yes.
to build that whole dome. I'm still wondering how they managed to get all that material through that crazy storm
Overmade.
and build a whole
Overmade.
containment dome around Skull
A
Island.
lot of
Ant-Man.
tranquilizers.
No,
A hell a
no,
lot of
but
tranquilizers.
that storm, and they've said it in the movie, I think, I don't know, that that storm is now expanding and destroying Skull Island. That's why all the evil
It,
people have died out, and Gia, that little girl, is the only survivor of the
yeah,
evil
it was
people.
it was this movie that actually mentioned that. It was like somewhere
Yeah.
like in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that the storm is now destroying parts of Skull Island.
Also, can
Like
we
Okay.
talk about a
it's got
very
years.
huge missed opportunity? Can we talk
L-
about a very, very, very huge missed opportunity, which I have
Which
ranted
is
out with Samin as well?
yes.
So Kong's down. Okay,
Yep.
Godzilla is getting his ass literally handed to him on a silver
Hmm.
plate. So,
Where is
like Junaid
Mothra?
said, like, where is Mothra? I mean, it could have been such a good entrance for Mothra to be
Yeah,
there and
Re-entrance.
revive Kong. And
Re-entrance,
instead of the,
yes.
yeah, exactly. And Mothra could have been the mediator between, Godzilla and Kong. Like, hey, both of you, stop it, stop being children, and just
Children.
like, we focus on this guy. And Mothra then starts to protect the humans while while Godzilla and Kong take the fight to Mega Godzilla. Makes sense. Like she could have contained all the damage that's coming through from the fight, protecting the humans and protecting whatever is left of Hong Kong, if Hong Kong was there anymore, that is to say. But like you can imagine, right? Like even Mothra could have joined the fight in midway, and that could have pretty much put out the word that yeah, Godzilla will have help when it's needed. Godzilla will not be alone. I mean, I think
But
I've told this to Samin a lot of times. Like, I
yeah.
seriously loved how the sound effect for Mothra and the music, it's just calming. I mean,
Mm.
you have an intense fight going on. That particular moment could have calmed everybody that, okay, Mothra is there because Mothra is a very huge religious symbol to these
Mm.
people, especially the
Yeah.
kid. So the kid could have communicated that as well, but nope, Mothra is
No,
who
not
but
right
listens to
there.
the kid?
but
Who
here
listens
here's
to
the
the
thing.
kid?
Here's the thing. I have a point. like when Mothra, the original Mothra, was introduced in King of Monsters, she was already in cocoon form. And it's only been 5 years. And right now, at the end of King of Monsters, she was in egg form. We don't know how many years that cocoon had been forming, or how many years it had that cocoon had been an egg before. It's only been 5 years. So it's a little too early to have Mothra the second show up right
Yeah,
now.
Mothra the second.
Can we
Yeah,
have
No,
a
but
show?
you do agree, right? Like it would have been a huge missed opportunity.
I know this
actually, a
is out
huge
of context.
opportunity
Can we
would.
have a? I know this is out of context, but can we have a show called Agents of Monarch?
I would love that show. I would
I
love
would
that
love
show
that.
so
I
as
would
much.
actually love that.
as long as the Russell family is not part of it. Like I would want Eileen Chen. Okay, fine, bring in Eileen Andrews again. They Houston Brooks, they from Skull Island. They showed him in King of Monsters as an older person. They can even bring in Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson's characters again. Like it hasn't been that many years if Houston Brooks was still alive in King of Monsters, because Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson's characters were sort of inducted into Monarch. If the post-credit scenes of Skull Island is anything to
Yeah.
go by,
And
they can
make
bring
and,
those. They
and
can
make the
bring
Russ
them back. Yeah,
make
they
the
can bring
Russells
them back.
be Grant Ward.
No, no more Russell. No, please. No, thank you. No Russell family. No, they have outlived
Uh,
their usefulness.
actually,
I,
here's what
I would,
I.
yeah, I would even be open to them bringing back Sam Brody, the little kid, the son, Ford Brody's
Yeah.
son from Godzilla. They could have had him in the movie, even like aged 10 years, because in universe it's been 10 years since Godzilla and the Muto incident. They could have brought Sam Brody in instead of this new character Josh.
Actually, here's the
Josh.
thing. Here's
So
the thing.
yes to Agents of Monarch.
Yes,
Hmm.
definitely hell yes to Agents of Monarch.
Here
Yeah.
is the thing about the characters here. I'm gonna address this actually.
Yes.
Yes, you're gonna have characters for interaction because let's face it, like Asad said in a conversation a while ago, in fact, you need human characters to keep the story going, right? So, but the thing about monster movies is that you cannot care who those characters are.
Yeah, it's very hard to
Yeah.
make people care about human characters when they're actually there to see monsters fight. It's very, very
Exactly.
difficult.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
They're
reason why they
literally
kept it,
pushing humans.
yeah,
The just here for Godzilla. Yeah.
exactly. You're here for Godzilla, you're here for Kong, you're here for Mecha Godzilla. You are not
Yeah.
here for Madison and whoever the hell the other people are.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yet
I
90%
agree.
of the movie is humans.
Yeah. Okay. Now, actually, I want to bring up another interesting fact here.
Yep.
There are a lot of things I want to say right now. I'm going to try to keep it brief and try to get as much of my point across as possible. First things first. Hollow Earth, absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely
Yes.
gorgeous.
I
Absolutely
mean,
gorgeous.
the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and seeing Hollow Earth in this form in this movie, 2021, it is beautiful. Like
I mean,
they've
kind of makes you think Brandon
so
Fraser
many
would
old.
be really, really happy to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
I just have this kind of like small happy thing. Like when he would have seen this movie, he would have seen this movie for sure. So I imagine he would have had that
Like
recall of his own
Journey to the
Hollow Earth
Center of
movie
the
and
Earth,
gone
and
like, oh, this is cool.
you're also forgetting Journey to Mysterious Island because that technically is a mixed match of that too.
Uh,
The creatures all look
But
amazing.
it was
The
beautiful.
Yeah, it was absolutely
The
amazing.
inverse gravity,
Yeah,
like going from one plane to the other, like through the gravity, and yeah, that was
yeah,
amazing. Like
That's
it's
yeah.
so
so
upside
beautifully
down.
done.
It had that whole going into Hollow Earth had an interstellar vibe in my point. From
Mhm.
my opinion, like the whole traveling through the hyperspace and then going into a deep space zone and then disappearing and then winding up into
Mhm.
Hollow Earth. So let me bring up to the points where I had problems with. One,
Mhm.
God, they mentioned that Godzilla and Kong's ancestors have been fighting for years. Where did that come
why?
from?
Millennia.
Why exactly
Yeah,
was this case?
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, okay, it was like vying for supremacy on the planet, but
Hmm.
it's a very generic reason. Like, okay, somebody must have done something. Again, just the fight between being alphas doesn't make
Hmm.
sense.
a five. Okay, here's the thing though. I like to think it's a nice little Easter egg to the 1960s movie
Hmm.
because technically those were their ancestors. in a certain point of view.
That's fair.
But if it's an Easter egg, okay, kudos. That's a very nice Easter egg. But if it's an actual plot point, what are you smoking? Give me some and you're fired. Because there are a lot of things I actually loved about Hollow Earth, but some things just don't make sense to me. One, the Gorilla Throne, perfect for Kong, and it actually added this nice touch to Kong's story. It's his initial story that was in Skull Island. We think that he did not have enough plot point, considering that he only had one movie compared to Zilla. But the fact that he managed to get his own world to himself, uh, and even if for a short point in time, they gave him enough character to be able to have a nice ending. Because technically, he can now just come back if Kong needs help. Like, I mean, not Kong, sorry,
Yeah.
Godzilla. He can
Godzilla.
now
Yes.
he can now just arrive when
Yeah,
Godzilla needs help.
they've kind of ended that cycle of violence. Like finally, they have recognized that okay,
They each
it
have their
isn't the
own
fact
separate
about being.
space.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. It's
They're
not
both
like being
socially
rude.
distanced now.
Exactly. They're both observing social distance.
Now, the thing that bugged me, Kong getting the scale for that fight
The
against
axe.
Zilla, the axe. I expected a more
Yeah.
cooler way. This was very sad. As in, like, it was fine. It was fine for what it was, but for what we
Basically, a
had,
relic from the ancient war. Yeah.
relic from the ancient war that literally looks like Godzilla doing an Ouroboros symbol.
And
Like,
one more
Yeah.
thing, and the skeleton that Kong pulled the axe out of, I think it was a baby Godzilla skeleton. Because
another
even
Easter
the
egg.
blade, and
If it
basically
was,
the blade, the axe thing, I pointed that out even when the trailer first came out. That blade thing, it looks like one of Godzilla's
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
back spikes. Yeah.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It
It,
is.
So,
Like
it was confirmed even when the
yeah,
first trailer came out. Sorry to cut you off,
yeah.
Asad.
No.
Uh, that it was in fact a skull, like
A
a
dorsal
scale from
dorsal plate.
one of
Yeah.
the skull, like the scales from Godzilla's back. So
Not this
that,
Yeah.
Godzilla, any of the ancient ones.
no,
Yeah.
yes, but consider it this way: when
Yeah.
we saw that it was a Godzilla scale that was
Yeah.
absorbing his blast, we all assumed that
Yeah.
in the first fight he managed to take out
He's gonna
the
pull it out.
pull
Exactly.
it
He's
out
gonna
and
rip
then
it out of.
and then make it
Yeah.
in the time for
Yeah.
the second battle. But no,
Exactly.
it was just
Which would have been
flying.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been impressive, but no,
Which
they
would
had
have been
him fly.
impressive because that would have like really, really showed like, okay, Kong is not just a baboon, he's actually a genius. Like a freaking genius. You'd be like,
I'm
okay, my fists don't work. So how about I make this?
One
There's
thing,
so many things he can do.
I'm offended. Everyone is saying Godzilla is the dinosaur. Why is everyone calling King Kong a monkey? Like, please, can we just?
an ape.
He's into a gorilla thing, not a monkey first.
Mm.
And now, what did you say? Right now, Asad said something regarding King Kong as well. Some other word,
A baboon.
Baboon.
baboon. Yeah,
No. Okay.
Yeah, utter
Now here's.
disrespect. Team Zilla.
No,
no.
but the Kong species itself, like in this movie, Kong is capable of sign language like any other ape that we have seen, like in real life, who are studied. But the Kong species as a whole, because I'm highly interested in who actually made that whole temple, the Kong temple inside the Hollow Earth. Was it Kong species? Was there an ancient human species living in there? Like even for Skull Island, they said it in this movie that Skull Island is a part of the Hollow Earth that was pushed up to the surface. So maybe the EV people also came along for the ride. So what if there was an ancient human species like the Godzilla temple in King of Monsters, where he went to recover after the oxygen bomb?
The
That also, that
hashtag
temple also, yeah,
hashtag the Babylon of Monsterverse.
yeah, the Atlantis more like. So
Yeah, but
basically,
all in all,
uh,
it was like very, very
yeah.
beautiful.
So if it was either maybe an ancient human species or maybe the ancient Kong species who were smart enough to have built that whole temple themselves. Like the Kongs were builders. They were smart enough for that, and maybe Kong still hasn't even reached that level of intelligence. Like Abhi, right now he's just learning sign language. What if there's even more? So yes to more movies.
Yeah, true. I mean,
Hmm.
we can see
We
that
need more
they
movies.
might develop like Kong into something that he becomes the monster side of the human representation. Like, okay, he speaks for the humans that, okay, this is what I've communicated to them. So
Hmm.
he and Godzilla might just form that particular kind of bond.
Planet of the Apes.
Interpreter,
Okay,
probably.
I have one or two things left to say before we wrap things up.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
So
Hmm.
final comments, I would say.
Yeah, final.
No,
Few
I
We
have
have
things
one
to
to
more
give
say.
thing.
ratings.
One more thing.
Ratings
Okay,
as well.
I have
go
one
for
more
it.
thing to pick up.
Go for it,
Go
Simi.
for it, I mean.
Go for it.
Okay, so King of Monsters, Alan Jonah, his whole thing was being an eco-terrorist and awakening all the titans to basically destroy humanity and give back to Mother Nature, because to basically restore Earth.
Hmm.
And in the post-credit scene, he got that Ghidorah skull, the Kevin head, the idiot head that
Kevin's
Godzilla
head.
had, Kevin's head that Godzilla had ripped off. So in the 5 years between King of Monsters and now Godzilla versus Kong, how exactly did that Ghidorah skull get from Alan Jonah's possession to Apex? Because Apex is supposedly all about helping and advancing humanity. Alan Jonah wouldn't just hand it over. So how did that happen?
Oh boy, Amar's
Uh,
ready.
Go,
okay, I
Mark,
am
go,
ready. I am ready. First of all, let me just clarify there were
go
three
for it.
heads. Okay,
I know, but only one was bitten off.
one was bitten
One was
off.
bitten off.
One was melted
No,
from a breath.
no. Okay, hold on. I remember this actually.
Hmm.
When right after Rodan was awakened outside New Mexico, oh no, sorry, just Mexico, not New Mexico. Godzilla ripped off the original Kevin head and it went into the ocean, right? And
Hmm.
then another head grew out in that place, like the Hydra from Greek mythology.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And afterwards, when near the end in the final fight, when Godzilla was nuclear Godzilla, two of the heads were vaporized from Godzilla's nuclear blasts, and then the third one we see Godzilla like chomping on it, and then it's in his mouth, and then he does his atomic breath through that head. So all those three heads, basically all of Ghidorah's body was vaporized. The only head
Okay.
that Jonah had was the one that Godzilla had bitten off earlier, that the
TV,
fisherman had
TV
found.
tropes, look what you have done.
Oh no 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 no! You see,
So that
there's
is the
also
only surviving Ghidorah head. And how did it go from Jonah's possession to Apex? How did Apex get it? Jonah wouldn't have handed it over.
So,
thank you
unless
for
there's a
this
backstory to it.
information because you just proved one of
Go
my
for it.
points that I'm about to say.
Yes,
Okay.
go for
Okay.
it.
First of all, Apex is around for God knows how long. I think he's. I think they got introduced in this movie, right? I may be
Yeah,
wrong. Yeah. So
yeah.
where's Monarch? Where has Monarch
Monarch
been in this
is
Monarch
entire
was,
the,
movie?
was there, right? I
they
mean,
Was there?
showed it.
they
They
showed it.
showed
They
it.
are
They showed
doing
Monarch.
So here's my
they're
theory.
doing relief operations
Yeah.
with,
So
with
yes, but here's my
Papa Russell.
theory. We only saw the
Hmm.
skull of the head. What about the
Hmm.
skin? My theory is that they're trying to regenerate Ghidorah with technology and make Mecha Ghidorah.
And
Uh,
Mechagodzilla was
uh,
the first step to testing out the mecha aspect of things. Like, is
That's
but
mechanization
but
possible or not?
but
no,
Monarch and Apex are two different
no.
organizations.
Yeah, two different organizations. So what I say is that Apex tried to create a robotic Godzilla naturally, but then here's the other
Hmm.
thing: Monarch is crazy. They're like
Yeah.
they're like the Dr. Frankenstein of the Monsterverse in this movies, right? So what they would want to do is that they would want to take technology and try to regenerate the tissues to make a Ghidorah they can control.
Which is impossible, but yeah.
Naturally, yeah, it would be impossible, but that does not mean they won't try.
Definitely.
Naturally it'll backfire because they'll try to create a robotic exoskeleton and try to recreate as much of the skin as possible and put it on Ghidorah. And naturally the same process with Mechagodzilla. The consciousness goes into Ghidorah, and then we get a Mecha Ghidorah.
Yeah, yeah,
It
that
is
I can see that happening. I
yeah,
can see that happening.
it's totally possible, but not for another one or two movies.
Yeah, they might just save it up. Like they
Yeah,
probably might bring in Destroyer or somebody else. Like there's so
Destroyer.
many kaiju.
Destroyer is so early. I think there is this humanoid version. I don't remember the name. Oh, what was that? Ankleon or something like that. There's like this giant.
Ankleon.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact name. It's like this
Yeah.
rolling around
Yeah.
hedgehog, like a dinosaur kind of thing. Like
Armadillo.
yeah,
Kind like an
armadillo,
armadillo.
ankylosaur, yeah, something like
Armored
that. Yeah,
armadillo.
yeah, something
Ankylosaurus. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would totally
Yeah.
love to see that happen because that he's one of my favorites. Although I forgot his name, I don't remember. I don't know why. Him, Rodan, and Godzilla were my favorites.
Damn.
Seeing them in the movie would totally be awesome. What else is what I did I
Mm.
want to say?
Like
What
in a
else?
couple more movies, even there could be a possibility of Mothra showing up. Maybe in a couple more movies.
Oh,
Not right
thank
now.
you. Not Mothra. I don't want to see Mothra again. I do actually, but I also want to see Batra.
Mm.
Oh, that would be good.
That
That,
Bat.
that that could be like a story focused on Mothra, with
Mm.
Godzilla just being a cameo.
But so no, think about it. Like before the Mecha Ghidorah movie, they do a Mothra movie, and they
Yeah,
Mm.
give the introduction to Batra, and that would
yeah.
like add more to the MonsterVerse at the same time. Uh,
Mm.
because you see, now the Destroyer part. This is an interesting aspect here because you see, Ghidorah was naturally a space creature that came into
Yeah.
Earth in the original, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
what if Mechagodora was able to amplify his awakening roar and goes deep into space? We get
And
Desadroya and
that's
space, and we get Desadroya and Space Godzilla.
oh
Oh,
snap!
and
That would
then
be insane.
that
That
would
would be seriously insane.
bring this MonsterVerse to a whole new level, and that would make things so much better. And okay,
I
now
agree.
the last thing I want to say before we wrap up and give the scores, uh,
Yeah.
is that Godzilla versus Kong. I got a lot of Batman v Superman vibes, and all I am, yeah. If you all remember, there was a meme about Save Mothra. Why
Save
did you say that
Mothra.
name?
Yeah,
Okay, Mothra.
Yeah,
You cannot convince me that that's not what they were saying in those roars.
yeah. They're pretty much saying that. Like it's just like
Yeah.
save Mothra.
And also,
Raj
the
Why
is
did
last,
you say that
yeah,
name?
also the last thing I want to say is Teamzilla.
Yes,
Okay,
Kingzilla. Yes.
but for now, time to wrap things up. What is our final score? Let's start with Asad. What is your score?
My score is pretty much the same that I gave back in my Facebook review as well. It's 8.5. I mean, look, in terms of if you just keep your focus on the monster side of things and just slight bit on the human side and you just ignore the plot holes, of course, it would have been a 10 out of 10. But of course, once you exit the movie, you start questioning a lot of things. So that's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I wouldn't be completely unfair and go rate it like 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. Obviously, people
Hmm.
don't know what a 4 out of 10 movie looks like. So 8.5, definitely. 8.5, it
Hmm.
deserves that.
Junaid.
I'll say an 8 out of 10. Again, there were some points which were rushed. Mecha Godzilla was rushed. There was no backstory. So for that and for the Russells, yeah, I'll give it an 8.
I will also give it an 8.5 because, again, I was very excited for this movie. There were a lot of plot points. I'm looking at you, Ren Serizawa. Yeah, but
Sameen is not going to let go of that.
no, I will not. There are a lot of things, but I would still give it an 8.5 because it's Kong versus Godzilla. I'm not even going to bother with Mecha Godzilla because, yeah, but yes. Now, the only thing that would make me happier would be a crossover between this Monsterverse and Pacific Rim.
Oh,
Yes.
that would be
That is
interesting.
very high wishing.
That is
It's
Exactly.
not
very, very
happening.
high
It's
wishing. That's
very hopeful wishing.
It's not going to
Probably,
happen.
I know it's not going to happen, but a girl can dream.
I got a good dream.
Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for this. I'm giving this a 7.5.
Fair enough. Fair
It's
enough.
Uh,
fine.
That's fine.
as much okay, my main concerns are this: the monster fights, absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
The story, for the most part, very good, but everything like it's the same problem I had with Batman v Superman. The build up to the fights is amazing, but
The fight itself
the
is
story
Hmm.
is the fight is amazing. The story is boring. The only
Too
the only
harsh,
difference
too
the only
harsh.
difference between Kong
that
versus
hurts me.
Godzilla and BVS is that I actually look forward to a giant monkey fight as a lizard.
Oh
Plus,
man.
it was brighter.
Plus, it was
Yeah,
brighter.
really,
Actually,
a lot brighter. If you look at the Hong Kong battle, it was a lot brighter. And seeing Godzilla on all fours attacking Kong like a crocodile in all that
Yeah.
bright light, that was terrifying.
oh, I agree.
Like when Godzilla got serious, that was terrifying.
I like to close this with a statement by another one of my favorite YouTubers, James Rolfe from Cinemassacre. He actually brought up this interesting point that he hated these kaiju movies because every time they had a kaiju fight, it's always have been
Mm.
either in the nighttime or in the rain. And
Yeah.
despite this movie having a fight in the nighttime, there was a lot more in the day, and that's what he loved about this
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
movie
think
a
they must
lot
have
more.
listened to that guy.
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
in fact,
because
the director actually offered him a cameo when they were filming this movie. But the thing is
Oh.
that
Nice.
ah,
he, but the thing is that around the time he was actually about to have his second daughter, so it was not feasible for him at the time.
Oh.
So he turned it down. So
Yeah.
with that said, our average score comes up to be around 8.1 out of
9.1
10.
out of 10. Which is a fair score to give. Which is a fair score
no,
to give. Like we're not completely fanboying, but at the same time we did enjoy the movie. It's
yeah,
We
a very enjoyable
yeah,
watch, I would say.
we got what we wanted. Everything that was given to us, what we were told was going to be given to us, we
Hmm.
got that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I like it. It only came out 2 days ago, and I've already seen it 3 times. So I
Yeah.
enjoyed
Definitely.
I
You have
unfortunately
way too
I
much
was
free time.
busy. Unfortunately, I was busy with the report, so I couldn't watch it as many more times as I want to. But yeah, definitely now that I finished the report, I'm gonna submit that. I will definitely be watching it like 3 or 4 more times. And with
Awesome.
that,
yeah.
we will be yeah.
Ending note, please,
Mhm.
please make Hulk versus Logan. Oh, Hulk, I'm sorry. Hulk, yeah, Hulk versus Wolverine, not Logan. I mean, same
I
thing.
mean, it's pretty much the same
It's
thing.
the
Yeah,
same
but yeah.
thing. Same thing.
It's
With
more or
Hugh
less the
Jackman, of
same.
course.
It's more or less
Kevin,
the same
Kevin
thing. It's just
Feige, if you're
it's the
watching
same.
this,
It's the same thing. The palettes have just been swapped.
yeah, in one way. In one way.
Okay. With that said,
And it's a wrap.
we're gonna close at the Dhaba. Thank you all so much for listening to us. Do let us know in the comments what you thought about the movie, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And do let us know what else you want to hear about from us. Anything from movie reviews to any general discussion. So, anything else you guys would like to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it from our side as well.
That's it from my side.
Okay, then. With that said, thank you all again, once again, so much for watching, and take care.
Take care, guys. Bye.